Here's the Dazzles transfer sheet, and it comes in the same size as all of our smaller size Dazzles. And basically it's just a clear sheet of adhesive that you can just peel up off the backing and use to transfer some complicated Dazzles shape onto your paper. On the back of the package it shows you instructions on how you can use this. It's great for putting down words and aligning them perfectly, and it's also perfect for using on the Dazzles innies, which are the inside pieces of the regular Dazzle stickers, so you can really get a lot of different uses for your Dazzles. Next I'm going to show you an example of how to use it. Here's a Dazzles star that it's an innie, and what I did was I cut around the outside edge of the shape and I left the silver innies on the Dazzle sheet, and I removed all the excess silver material around it. So that's what you're going to do when you're using the transfer sheet. And I want to transfer it onto this blue sheet of paper. So I've got my transfer sheet here. I've actually cut off a piece that's big enough to cover my star. And sometimes the sheet is a little too tacky, so what I do is just stick it on my hand to get a little bit less sticky. And just stick it over your Dazzle here. And I'm using this on a craft sheet so it doesn't stick to any unwanted paper. And I'm going to use the end of a pen to rub down the shape and all the little pieces that go with it. And you're going to want to press pretty hard on this because sometimes the Dazzles are kind of stubborn and don't want to come up off their backing sheet. And make sure you press inside the white parts that come around the Dazzle innies. Sometimes the smallest, or usually the smaller tiny shapes, like these inner shapes here, are the hardest to get off. But if you press hard enough, they should adhere to the transfer sheet. And this is really neat because you get to use your Dazzles double time. Alright, so I think I've done this enough, but we will find out. So I just peel this off, turn it over, and simply peel off the backing sheet. As you can tell here, it's coming off onto the transfer sheet nicely, and I'm kind of peeling it off at a pretty sharp angle so the Dazzles pieces will not be tempted to stick to the backing sheet. They'll be transferred to the transfer sheet. Yay, it's working. And there's one little shape. Alright, and there's the star, and this is all sticky. And I'll turn this over, take my paper here, and I'll just stick it on there. And to avoid unnecessary sticking, I'm just going to stick my backing sheet under there, just to mask those sticky parts. And I'm going to do the same rubbing down that I did on the Dazzle. So this is to transfer it to the paper that I want it to stay on. You want to try not to rub too much on parts that are not on the silver Dazzle, because then the transfer sheet may lift off your paper, which would not be good. So I'm trying to just rub down the metal part, or the silver parts of the star. Alright, so I'm peeling it off now, and you're going to want to keep the transfer sheet kind of at a sharp angle and watching for those pieces. If they come up, you can press them back down, and you can also pick them off the transfer sheet with your X-Acto blade. And you want to go pretty slowly to make sure all the pieces are sticking, which it looks like they are. And there's the final product. Your Dazzle innies, and they're in perfect placement. Here's a Dazzles greeting that I've cut out of this sheet of Dazzles. And I've also removed all of the innies and the surrounding gold area, just like the star. And I'm going to take the same Dazzles sheet, do the same process, place it over the greeting. And this is the same one I used for the stars, so just to illustrate that this can be used multiple times. I'll press down really hard on the word, make sure it sticks. And like that dot on the eye, you're going to want to really rub that one on because it's freestanding. And after you've rubbed the whole word, and even in between in the white spaces too, then you will turn it over just like last time and peel off the backing sheet of the Dazzles, and your word, there's the little dot. So I'm going to press him down. Come on. If he's really stubborn, I'll just take my X-Acto blade and get him off there. And there's my greeting. So now we're going to put it on the sheet of paper. So here's the sticky side and here's the glossy side, and I'm placing it on my paper, kind of masking the areas that I don't want to stick down. And I'm using the same process with the sticking down of the word. Use the other end here. And just rubbing on the gold parts this time. And you want to make sure that you rub the eye down, that little dot. Alright, so now let's see if we've done enough rubbing. Start peeling off the transfer sheet. Looks like that part's staying. And I can remove this backing sheet. You want to go pretty slowly and make sure all your pieces are where they want to be. And you also want to make sure your transfer sheet isn't sticking too much to your paper, that it lifts off some of the paper. All right. There's your season's greetings, and it's perfectly aligned. And your Dazzles transfer sheet is still good to use, so I'm going to put it back onto the backing for future use.